This is Galaxian for the Atari 5200, which was released for the Atari in 1982 and the arcades in 1979 from Namco. I threw some reverb on the opening classic Game Room stock music to give it more of an arcade feel. Now, if only I could fill the air with cigarette smoke and get the licensing to play the final countdown from Europe, I think we'd be all set. It would be just like the arcade, except without one of those machines with the claws that would grab those stuffed animals. You know, I really should review those for Classic Game Room. I'll have to, no I won't, never mind. That's a stupid idea. This game is a lot like the final countdown. Perhaps Europe wrote that song while they were playing Galaxian, because if you don't destroy all the aliens, it really is the final countdown until your destruction. Well, every game actually ends the same way with your destruction. The only difference is how many points you have before you go out like a bitch. Galaxian is an awesome video game, and the Atari 5200 version is very well done. It looks nice, it plays well, the sound effects are excellent. I actually prefer the Atari 2600 version of Galaxian. Although this version on the 5200 may be slightly closer to the original in some respects, the motion is smoother, the graphics are a bit sharper, there's a little more detail in the aliens moving back and forth than when they swoop down on you. But there's an element of simplicity in the 2600 version that just plays better in my opinion. It doesn't matter, you should play them both because Galaxian is a terrific video game and is the precursor to the very popular Galaga. If you've never played a version of Galaxian, you should. It's very easy to find. It was one of Namco's big games, so it's on a number of compilations for the PlayStation and other game systems. Basically, it's a lot like Space Invaders, except you get more points for shooting the aliens when they're swooping down on you. And sometimes they'll come down in formations. If you can pick off the two red ones and then the yellow ones, you get a lot of points. I don't recall what the arcade machine for Galaxian looks like, but the video game cartridge for the Atari 5200 has completely different artwork than the Atari 2600 cartridge. And the artwork is not at all what I would expect for Galaxian. It's a very good-looking piece of artwork, and it's a great-looking cartridge. I just don't associate this graphic at all with Galaxian. Probably because I had the 2600 cartridge when I was a kid, and it was one of my favorite games on the Atari 2600. You can see them both side by side here. Note that the Atari 5200 version came out in '82, and the copyright on this game cartridge is 1983 for the Atari 2600 version. Most of the Atari 5200 versions of arcade classics like Missile Command and Pac-Man are far superior to the Atari 2600 versions. I don't think Galaxian has that superiority, so you can do just as well, if not better, with the Atari 2600 version, but either game cartridge will only cost you a few dollars today. They're easy to find and pack hours and hours and days and weeks of video gaming fun. Galaxian is one of those true classics that revels in its simplicity, its design, its gameplay, and Galaga is a worthy sequel and an excellent game in its own right. Galaga is easier to come by these days. There's a version on Xbox Live Arcade, and I think more people know Galaga. There's also a nice version of Galaga on the Atari 7800. And like most Atari games, they're a lot of fun to collect today. These games withstand the test of time very well, and the cartridges that I have are in excellent shape. And I enjoy every moment that I get to annihilate waves of alien invaders in Galaxian. Whether it be on the Atari 2600 or this version on the Atari 5200. There we go. Sometimes I swear they just know when the shot is coming and move the opposite direction. They're tricky little aliens to hit sometimes. See you next time on Classic Gamer.